Hey everybody, I am sitting here with my good friend Dr. Martin Harvey, and we are sitting here in Cabo San Lucas. We had a great couple of days of just kind of talking tech, having fun, and some really genius stuff has come out in casual conversations, as it always does when I talk to Martin. So we were kind of speaking today about some things that I think are really going to help you, the viewer. So you're going to want to watch this all the way through, and maybe a few times. Martin, kind of explain some of the yes and strategies that we were going through.
So yes and is a strategy that's kind of based on the knowledge that at a really deep level we absolutely hate to be wrong. And the easiest way to kind of fast track through what is probably 45 minutes of a workshop is that if you think back to some time that you have ever had an argument with your loved one, with your spouse or partner or whatever, and you're going at it and you know that you're right and she or he knows that they're right, and there's nobody willing to give up any ground. And then have you ever had that experience where you get an hour or so down the track, and then you realise you get some other piece of information that shows that you in fact were wrong? And that
it's never happened.
Yeah, no, me either, but I've heard that it's really devastating. Yeah, I anticipate that it would be a really
I hate it so much
feeling.
I don't want to admit it now.
But there's this fundamental thing that's been ingrained in us, that there's some weakness or something terrible about being wrong. And it's a completely emotional, irrational thing, but it's real. It's what the people that we're talking to every day, the number one thing is you cannot make them wrong if you want to be relevant, if you want to get your message across, if you want to be able to help them. And so one of the ways to do that is we will really frequently come up against situations where people will give us, they'll communicate to us that they have a different worldview or a different view about health or a different view about chiropractic. But if you make them wrong, if you use a but, if you go, yeah, but this is the true way that it is, you're making them wrong, which they're then going to be using everything in their psychological background to try and make all the reasons why you're irrelevant, why you're wrong. So what we have to do is to go, yes and. Yeah, look, I understand why your medical doctor may have said that chiropractic was really dangerous, and there's a different perspective around it, which is ABC, and then you get to give your chiropractic perspectives. And I think you were talking about how it's really applicable in a workshop.
Oh, for sure. So, number one, Martin Harvey just did a seminar in Los Angeles, and if you missed it, you missed a phenomenal program. It's called Inside Out. But he was going through some of these yes and strategies, and it's yes and, not yes but. So where this really applies on a granular level in your practice is if you're doing lectures or workshops in your office or in the community, and somebody has a question and they say something like, well, my medical doctor says this, and it's to the contrary of your viewpoint or maybe even your message, the way to bring them around and stay in agreement with them is a yes and strategy. Yes, that is possible, and sometimes people fall into that category. And did you ever consider why this might be something that would help you as well? And that's what we do at our workshops. So this would apply in a Q&A session at the end of a talk where someone would ask a question and they say, well, my medical doctor said, I shouldn't have, say, my neck adjusted. That's a big one, right? I shouldn't have my neck adjusted. Yes, and would be something you can do there. Yes, there are certain circumstances where it's a real finite, small percentage of the population maybe wouldn't have that done. So yes, there is a time. And if you ever considered that for majority of the people, they should, and you could go into your reasons, so you could do more particular topics, but the idea is it's yes and, stay in agreement, not yes but, and you could use this on your table talk, in your practice, your ROF, wherever it applies, but the information Martin's got for communications, it's absolute brilliance. He runs something called Inside Out. We've been teaching a workshop called The Art of the Close in the U.S., and some of the brainstorming we've been doing after Corona or Pacifico was maybe joining forces on this and really starting to do some workshops where we collaborate and pull this into a comprehensive workshop. If I had my wishes and it were to work out, we would do something in Australia, something in the US, and something in Europe. But our calendars are so tight, that's not on the agenda yet. We'll keep you posted. But this information that he's got in the communication strategies, it's brilliant. And one of the things you started our workshop in LA was how quick are chiropractors to adapt?
Super slow, super slow.
We are so slow. So we're looking at ways to speed up the profession, keep the communication lines open, and we want to keep you involved. So check out Dr. Martin Harvey, and that is your tip for today. Cheers from Kyle.
Adios.